Well, hello again, everyone. Hope you're all doing very well out there, and obviously it's a new update because there's a lot of things going on. Again, there's been a lot of turbulence in the road and getting things done. It's been a difficult year. As all these updates keep showing, it's like all the stuff just keeps happening. Things keep happening, making things difficult around here. But I'm happy to say that my review for Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is complete. It's been up on Patreon shortly after this gets released. That will be also released on YouTube, but it's been on Patreon for 2 days as people who contribute $3 a month get early access to all the videos and all the commentaries, all the other stuff. So, if you're interested in supporting the channel and helping things go on a little faster around here, hopefully get a little more time to actually get things done and put more towards the channel, that would help out extremely much. But that's out there because it's been a real tough time getting that done because I shot the whole thing and then I developed this tension in my neck, like it just kept creeping up on me and getting worse and everything would just tighten up all over the place. And that kind of kept me out of the loop of doing anything for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So this video is like 2 weeks past when I intended to actually get it done. So that's just difficult to deal with. But obviously it got done and got through everything. But it was not easy getting through it. Getting through just the portion of getting everything done with the synopsis portion of the video, which is always the last thing I do. And it drives me nuts because it's just a tedious process. But it's necessary for the video to lay out the plot of the film. It took me like 2.5 days to get that whole thing done because I was having problems. I was very tired. I was having problems actually getting words to come out of my mouth to record the damn thing. And there was the editing process and all these other stuff. It would just drive me crazy. And so it was just such a long process getting through difficult things and dealing with things and getting into all this other shit. So it's finally done. I'm so glad it's done. But it's been like putting me so far behind schedule where I wanted to be. And I'm trying to catch up. So I got a lot of things I've announced to you guys here and stuff like that. But obviously, we are still getting around to the next set of commentaries. We haven't recorded things. Steve is out on another fantastic road trip out east, doing wonderful stuff out there. And we'll confer and figure out where we're going shortly, because I have to watch a lot of films. But there's a lot of stuff where we're still continuing on the Stephen King stuff, and I'm like, I gotta get a lot of these things watched. So I have them built up in the queue so we can just get on with it and deal with these things and talk about them. And so I have, along with some other stuff I ordered, I just ordered some stuff from Bull Moose, including Blu-rays for Carrie and Children of the Corn. Now, the old Scream Factory release for Carrie is well out of print, and you're going to pay exorbitant prices for it, so I just opted for just this bare-bones Blu-ray of it, which, what am I going to do about it? Keep things like, well, probably, it's one of those MGM titles I'll probably eventually get cycled into, like Kino Lorber 4K release or something like that. Lord knows, but right now, it's all I got. So it's got no features whatsoever on it, so I'll have to watch it and do some personal research and get on with it. Children of the Corn, I'm very much interested in because I've known about the franchise for a long time that it's not a good franchise. There's not a lot of good films in this whole thing, if there's any real good films at all. But we got to get on a little bit of the downslope of the King adaptation at some point. Not terribly downslope, but some things are more interesting. We're kind of like, okay, this has a reputation not being terribly good, and it's not all that faithful of an adaptation, so there's a lot of stuff to get into. And it's based on like a short story or something like that, so I'm kind of interested to get to it. And it's up on Prime right now to watch for free and all that type of stuff. But anyway, like that, those are films that we're very much interested in covering, plus another film I have in my very short stack of media pickups. So, stuff like that. But we got all that type of stuff going on. Of course, we'll mix the Rambo stuff in every so often when we feel like going back to it. So we got that type of stuff going on, and the fact of the matter is, the next couple of videos I have going on here. So the next one I'm doing as a review video is probably almost certainly going to be The Last Boy Scout. Because I guess the news that dropped about Bruce Willis and his diagnosis and him retiring from acting because of that probably sort up a few things. I watched Striking Distance for the first time. It was up for free on Tubi or something like that. So I sat down and watched it. It's like, it's not all that good. It's fine. It's fine, but it definitely problems with it. But it's like, okay, I'm glad I didn't order the Blu-ray on this thing that was kind of inching towards, because it's not much to talk about. But as it goes on, it's like, okay, the other Bruce Willis movie that has a lot of stuff to talk about that no one involved with the production really wants to talk about, but apparently there's a lot of just information that's gotten spilled out all over the place, is The Last Boy Scout. So it's one that I've kind of batted back around a time or two here and there. I haven't watched the film in like 10 years or something like that. But I got the Blu-ray sometime last year or something like that, and it's like, it feels like a good time to do it. It feels kind of right in a certain way. It just feels, the vibe is there for me at this point in time. So I read up on it. There's a ton of fucking shit, but I'm going to get into it. I'm going to try to get into it as much as I can. I've been ripping stuff since there's no bonus features of any kind available. I have to rip like different like talking head interview footage from like other discs for like Tony Scott and Shane Black and Joel Silver and stuff like that. So I got kind of mishmash from like the Top Gun disc and the Nice Guys disc and the Lethal Weapon disc and stuff like that. So I got to grab stuff here and there and everywhere to kind of like have something to cut to every so often when I'm talking about these guys, aside from just footage from the film and some maybe, I don't know, random still here and there. So I'm trying to grab something to have at least something to work around in the edit with. So that's going to go off on there. And as I've been kind of having retro video series on this extended unintentional hiatus type of thing, I've kind of come to an idea here that's kind of been stirring around for at least a little bit of a time here. So I'm tentatively calling Elm Street Rarities. Now, this is basically stuff from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise that's like, it's technically available. All this stuff so far has been technically just uploaded to YouTube. Some of it not in the best quality possible, but it's one of these things, like, there's a lot of, like, things that have been released and not released and kind of oddly available in certain places, like work print footage and deleted stuff and alternate things here and there and all this type of stuff that's kind of like, not like regular commercial circulation at this point in time, it's like old VHS releases and some random laser disc somewhere. It's like all these little things, like if they were going to create like a mega box set, it would probably, hopefully, all get on there. But as we're sitting here kind of waiting around for Warner Brothers to decide what they're going to do with it, because there's stuff from like a Screen Factory insiders like Warner's won't license it to us. So it's like, okay, well, Warner's isn't doing anything with it. So if you're not going to license it, you might as well do something with it yourself. But until that day comes, there's a lot of interesting things to explore that I have to sit down and actually watch a lot of this stuff and do further research for other stuff that might be out there to detail in a retro video series episode. So hopefully that'll come around maybe in about a month's time. Projecting further out than what I'm feeling, but in about a month's time, I'm thinking I'll probably get around to that and set that up and get going, because there's a lot of stuff going on, even some minor soundtrack stuff and various other little things will be interesting to discuss and get up on that. I'm not really going for like home video history. I'm going for stuff that's kind of like these odd little things that have not been regularly circulating and kind of lost a little bit in the shuffle of VHS, the DVD, the Blu-ray, and stuff like that, and some other little things. So there's a lot of little odds and ends to kind of gather into a whole thing and kind of figure out how to discuss them and what their importance is of various little things. So I'm kind of getting around to it, and it's a very interesting topic to get into, and then I'll kind of slip in some other things that are maybe not quite as interesting, but I think that's a really good one that's worth the wait. So hopefully that'll get up on that track in a few weeks. I'm excited about the idea. I just got to gather some more information here and there and kind of get the best sources possible to do stuff with. So I'll get up on that and talk a little bit of things here and there about the home video history, but nothing exhaustive in a certain way. So I'm trying to just find the little pieces to kind of fill in the gaps here of where things are landing in that regard. So that's great things there. And so I got other things planned here and there and everything. We're just going to remember them right now. But, yeah, so there'll be Last Boy Scout. Then I'm probably going to do some other goddamn thing I can't remember right now. I was going to do Flatliners next. That's what it was. I haven't watched it yet, but I was going to sit down. I ended up being really exhausted on my last day off, so I couldn't really do what I wanted to. I had to just get the Ghost Protocol thing done and just sit around and do nothing all day. But I wanted to sit down, I wanted to watch Flatliners, maybe something else, and kind of get up on a few different things so I can get caught up on stuff, so I can actually start doing stuff with the films. So I'm going to do that, then we go into Flatliners, which is much more of a horror review, and then I'll kind of move into some other things I've been talking about lately. So I'll just figure out where they fit in the schedule and where things land at certain points in time, how long it takes me to get there with all this other stuff. So working on that, so deal with that as it comes. So like I said, there's not a big stack over here because there's not been a lot of time since the last update, and of course I got other stuff that's coming in via mail. So one of the other things we're talking about on the commentaries, because people keep asking me over time, and so I figure let me relent, because the damn Blu-ray was $10 on Amazon, so I grabbed it up before the end of the month and stuff like that. So Sleepaway Camp, so we'll do it. We're gonna do it. I haven't watched it since fucking 1999 or some shit like that, when I rented it off of VHS. So I'll have to watch this again and get some information about it, and we'll sit down and we'll cover it eventually. Steve has the old DVDs for the sequel, so he'll eventually lend those to me to watch. So, because I've never watched them before, so I don't know shit about what I'm getting into. So we'll see about that, but this will go up on the schedule within the next month or so. So that will go up on there, so you can be very pleased about that. We're acquiescing to your requests. So there's that. And that was, I kind of threw it out there on the last update and no one really said anything about it, but kept hitting me in the head and kind of nagging at me. That's okay, kind of want to at least revisit the Kelvin universe Star Trek film. So Amazon had a 2 for $25 deal for the 4K editions of the 09 film and Into Darkness. And I had Paramount Plus last month, and they had Into Darkness. They didn't have the 09 film. Now, the interesting thing with me getting... I didn't really like the 09 film before. Into Darkness, I did a review of it when it first came out, opening weekend, had various combative things to say about the whole thing. But I feel okay, it's worth going back and revisiting them and getting a refreshed opinion about them and see if I want to do anything about it. But I had Paramount Plus, because Paramount Plus had this whole deal where they were celebrating their 1-year anniversary, so you could sign up for it with the no-ad plan for $2 a month for 3 months. And so I got up on there, and it's I started watching Trek stuff. And I started getting really disappointed with a lot of things on the platform. One, I was watching a lot of Voyager, but the fact is Voyager is still standard definition, because that's the way they did all the post-production back in the day, and they haven't done remasters because it's very, very expensive. But I've watched Voyager before on Prime, on Netflix, on Hulu, stuff like that. They did a real bad job of deinterlacing the whole thing. It wasn't good. Especially when I went back and watched the pilot episode, they didn't even try. All the special effects action sequences looked awful. I was keep watching. It's man, you're doing a really bad job of presenting this here. And it's also, of course, they got a pillar box the whole thing for the 4x3. It's the pillar boxes are not black; they're dark gray. It's what the fuck are you doing? You're fucking it up. You're almost intentionally fucking it up. You can't constantly do this stuff accidentally. You have to keep doing a lot of stuff on purpose to get it this bad. And it's the further problem I ended up having is okay, I tried to sit down and watch Into Darkness, which I have it 4K Dolby Vision on there, and their entire goddamn platform is so screwed up that it's when I go on my Sony TV to hit picture, to change the picture settings, because when I start watching it, the damn motion smoothing's turned on. But the problem is I go into the settings and picture settings. When it brings up the picture settings, it disables the video feed, so it's no longer getting a Dolby Vision signal, which means I can't access the picture settings for the Dolby Vision. I kept tweeting things out. They just completely never acknowledging worth a goddamn. Over and over again. It's like I kept waiting for them to fix it or something like that. It's like maybe they'll just eventually just fix it. They never fixed anything. So it's like, okay, I can't watch this. It's all freaking motion smoothing. It looks like shit. And it's like I was waiting because like, oh man, they're going to drop the 4K remaster of the director's cut of motion picture. I've been waiting for this thing. I absolutely love it. If you go back and watch my video on the motion picture, that's all I talk about is the director's edition because that's the proper version of the film. And I was so excited that like they're finally doing it. They finally get it done. And it's still fucked up. I can't turn off the motion smoothing. I can't sit here and watch this. It looks like shit. So it's like there's nothing I can do with this platform. It's completely screwed up. The standard def shit sucks. The 4K Dolby Vision I can't fix. Only thing I can watch is like the regular HD stuff, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not all that interested in the stuff I have on the wish list, the watch list or whatnot. That's just regular HD. Is like, okay, I canceled it, so I don't have it anymore. I paid $6 for 1 month when I would have gotten 3 months, but it's like I'm not dealing with this anymore. Thankfully, I can still go with the Prime Video thing. I can still sign up through the Prime thing to get the content for Paramount Plus through Prime, so I can deal with Prime just fine. I have no problems with their stuff. I don't know if they'll still have Dolby Vision. I haven't seen anything on there that actually has Dolby Vision, just regular HDR10. But it's all kind of weird technical stuff here and there. But it's like, okay, now I kind of just want to get Voyager on DVD, but it's like $80 or $120. The prices I've seen is like Deep Discount, which has it on back order right now, which means when it goes back in stock, they're going to jack the price back up. But right now, it's $86 on there. Or if I go to on Amazon, it's like $130. Like, there's no reason this fucking DVD set that's like 20 fucking years old should be costing this much still. There's no reason for it whatsoever. Even though, like, I'm talking about, with like Blu-ray sets I have, which are like Mill Creek, like the Miami Vice set or the Quantum Leap set, they all cost less than like $60. And you're telling me I got to pay like $80 to like $130 for a DVD set that you haven't put any extra money into to remaster them or do anything else to them? They're 20-year-old fucking DVD transfers that you just repackage. Like, it should not be costing this much. It's ridiculous. So it's like I'm kind of biding my time on that. So I don't know. Let me see what else I got on my fucking list of things that I have coming up on the schedule here. Oh, there's a lot of fucking 4K Blu-rays coming out on like May 17th. Like the Escape from New York one, and The Craft, and Beverly Hills Cop 2. I am getting all these. And I specifically took the 17th and the 18th off so I can produce reviews on those 4K discs. So you can look forward to in about a month and a half that I will be doing dedicated 4K Blu-ray reviews of those releases. So those are pinned on the schedule right fucking now. I'm getting them. I haven't pre-ordered them yet, but I will. I will have them in my hand on the 17th, and I will start doing videos on them. At least the Scream Factory ones I'll do videos on if I have extra time, which I probably won't because I never have as much. Everything takes longer than I expect it to. But maybe I'll eventually get to Beverly Hills Cop 2 as a 4K Blu-ray release because I still have the old trilogy pack, the old one from the UK, the region-free one that predates the remasters they did about a year or two ago. So that's the original Blu-ray transfers on that. So I can probably do some comparison and stuff like that. And I also still have the old DVD set that has bonus features that they never poured over to the original Blu-ray. And I don't think they're on the 4K set either. So that's still something to talk about. I can throw that in there and stuff like that. So I've been kind of wanting to also talk about The Craft at some point in time in some form whatsoever. So it won't be a full dedicated, like, full-length movie review, but at least gives me an opportunity to at least discuss it to some degree in some sort there. So cool stuff. And of course I did Escape from New York Scream Factory review back in 2015 when that disc came out. That was like one of the first ones I did where I actually ripped footage from a Blu-ray. I actually went out, bought the goddamn drive so I could actually rip the footage and all that type of stuff for that review. So now all these years later. Now we'll get up on the 4K and do a comparison and all that other stuff. So I don't have a Blu-ray of the craft. I just have the old DVDs. So I won't be as much of a to B comparison type of thing. So, but we'll see what I can do about all that type of stuff to give you guys a nice set of reviews there. So when those discs hit, I'll be working on reviews for them. So we'll definitely get into that. And since we're doing Carrie eventually, I was like, that's gonna stick in the whole having De Palma on the brain. It's like definitely the Snake Eyes thing. I've also been thinking about Body Double. I haven't watched it in a couple. I rented it on DVD a couple of years ago from an old video store I used to live near. It's like it's kind of an interesting film, but I haven't watched it in several years. And right now, the best version to get is the Indicator series Blu-ray that was released in the UK, but it's a region-free thing. And I can get it off of Amazon. It's not direct Amazon Prime type of thing, but I can still get it from there for a decent price. I'm just kind of like probably just waiting for the next paycheck to come around, and I'll probably snag that up. So anything like that, just don't want to spend too much at one time. But I could buy it now and not have a problem. But any which way, I kind of like probably we're going to get into Carrie. Then I'll probably want to do a review of De Palma film. So it might be Snake Eyes, it might be Body Double. De Palma's a little hit or miss. Like some things hit for me. Like I watched Blowout a couple years ago, and like it didn't entirely get me there. I felt like John Lithgow's sort of hitman character felt very cartoonish towards the end of the film and kind of threw me off. The vibes here and there, but some things here and there. So I already want to talk about maybe some De Palma next month, and we'll get into things find out where Carrie lands, and that'll probably be at least a striking point to get off and do some other stuff. So I'll get interested in that type of stuff and talk about things here and there, and I think that's a good update. And I guess the only other thing to really kind of talk about is that I don't know how much I've actually talked about it here. I've talked about it on social media and stuff like that here and there, but there's this old short horror film script I started working on in 2019, and then I was working on it, then things kind of went to shit 2 years ago, and I kind of like, well, I can't really shoot any kind of films or anything like that in any foreseeable future, so I just kind of stopped working on it. But I actually finished it a couple weeks ago. I got to a point where the actual thing is complete. I haven't shown it to anyone, haven't got any feedback, haven't thrown it out for feedback. I kind of like want to work on kind of like a conceptual package for it in a certain way, kind of like some like film references about how the thing to look and feel in a certain way, kind of get a package of some location scouting photographs, kind of like a presentations, like not just the script. Here's the look, here's the vibe, here's kind of how I want the thing to look, and here's some location photos, whatnot. Get the idea of some of the geography of some of the places I haven't scripted out for. So I want to present it as like an entire package. I've just been kind of, again, sidelined with all the other stuff going on and being a little off the track of getting on that. So I'll see where I can get along with that. It's supposed to be one of these things kind of set in autumn, like November or something like that, with the look of the entire film, or somewhere along that line, October, November type of thing. So I'm not like super charged to get on it right away, but I'll work on it as things go along. I don't even have a title for the damn thing because I'm terrible with titles. I have no idea what to name the thing. So right now, in regards to that, I have something set. I think I don't even know how many pages, like a 13-page thing, but it's taken forever. But any which way like that, it's done. And the most part, there's a full, complete draft of the thing done. And so once I get back up on things, get caught up on a few other little things, I'll chip away on this sort of presentation package for it, and kind of like then I'll send it out to some people and see where things land and see what we can do about it. So that's all I got for you guys at this point in time. Hope you are excited for all these different things coming up here and there and everywhere. And it's like, always just follow me on the social medias, get caught up on different things, or even hit the community tab here on YouTube, where I've been regularly posting about all the little updates and all these different things. So guys, hope you enjoy things and keep watching and all these other great stuff. So we'll be back with some more great stuff soon. So thanks much. Take care. Bye-bye.